But wait! There's more! Hang on to your seat, baby! Cause this one's a screamer!
Hey guys, my name is Bando, this is Brexit Bando, and I've got to, I want to talk about Elxhovies. So Elxhovies is a retailer in the UK, and they have all sorts of stuff from 3D printed bits, resin bits, GW stuff, you know, all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. Look at these frogmen, they're very froggy. But the thing I want to talk about is this little bit here. Blood and Skulls Industry. Now, for those of you in the know, Blood and Skulls Industry was, I believe, an American company that made upgrade parts for vehicles. They made some really cool conversion parts for tanks, you know, for Land Raiders, for Rhinos, and they were a real big sort of part of the early heresy, because it, you know, they gave us different tracks to use on the old school Land Raider to make them look more brutal, to remove the Aquila from the tracks. They gave loads of stuff to make things like Chimeras into wheeled vehicles. They've got stuff to make Rhinos into two Deimos Rhinos before we had a plastic kit. And unfortunately, Blood and Skulls Industry actually went out of business a couple of months back. It happens. It happens a lot to small sort of garage industries, and it's simply because costs, they can't be absorbed. And if you've ever looked at sort of, you know, independently made resin kits, you'll see that some of them are really expensive. And it's simply because of the time it takes for them to be built, the amount of resources, and because these people don't have the scale of industry. So Forge World, for example, it costs pennies for them to make miniatures, because they're making them in such a scale that they can afford to buy hundreds of litres of resin at a time. You know, literally gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons of resin and silicon for mould making, whereas someone who's working out of a spare room in their house, they have to buy it by, you know, a 2 or 3 gallon bucket. You know, they're buying it from the same shops you are. They're buying it from like hobby suppliers, and because they can't put an order through that's big enough for these industrial type guys to really care about, so they have to pass the cost on. So I don't have a problem with these sorts of kits costing a little bit more. Would I like them to be cheaper? Absolutely. But I'm under no illusion that the smaller, more boutique a product run, the higher the price has got to be to cover it. But Blood and Skulls has been picked up by Elxhovies, and it looks like they're now producing them. So we have some fantastic bits. One of my favourites is definitely the muzzle brakes they do for the Basilisk. I think they look fantastic. I would like to get a Basilisk in the future, and that is the exact muzzle brake I intend to use for it. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of them where they haven't got photos of them. But there are bits in here that are just, you know, really fantastic bits for converting your miniatures. You know, if you're doing a militia Lehman Russ, these tracks are a bit more detailed, they're a bit more brutal, they're a bit more aggressive in their tread pattern. You know? Maybe you want some more industrial looking sponsons for your Predators. I believe this is also maybe fits. Is it the Predator? Oh no, Lehman Ross. Different turrets and all that sort of thing. And there's lots of stuff on here. I mean, even if you're kit bashing, if you're an orc player, this is going to be your mecca. Extra armour for rhinos. They've got fleur-de-lis pattern tracks, which appear, they look like they're in plastic. It might be resin, I don't know. So if you're building a Castigate tank, for example, or a Deimos Sisters of Battle Rhino, That says it's for the Chimera, but those pictures are quite clearly for a Lehman Russ, so I don't know what's going on with that. Now, unfortunately, like I said, there's a lot of pictures that are missing from here. But there is an awful lot of really cool bits. Like this here will help you update a Spartan to give it a different set of tracks. See, it's got the Imperial Eagle style track. So they also do some what are they called? Contemptor legs. They do a set of Contemptor legs that look really cool as well. I actually used them on my Raven Guard. Here we go. This is the sort of thing. They're really aggressive looking track. I want to use these for when I do the World Eaters. I definitely want to use these. Nice and sharp looking. This is for Kratos, but it would just straight up replace the Kratos tracks that you use. The plastic ones you use. And £17 actually is... That's not a horrendous price, if I'm going to be brutally honest. Mark III Land Raider, so that's the plastic Land Raider. For the Proteus. They do it for the Sikaran, the Rhino, all sorts. Different rear engine plates for tanks. What is this? Lehman Russ? Yeah, Lehman Russ. That's cool. Maybe you're getting sick and tired of building the same Russes. Maybe you want your third line militia Russes to look a bit different. Maybe you want them to look a bit more archaic, you know, with the extra filters. Maybe you want them to look a bit experimental, some nuclear reactors. Maybe you need some trench rails, you know, maybe you're doing Krieg. All sorts of weird and wonderful bits. I would seriously, if you like tanks, if you like making conversions, come check out Elxhovies, which is just ELRIKS hobbies.com, and have a look at these, because Blood and Skulls was very popular before, and it was a big shame they disappeared. And it's good to see that they're back. It's the same with Conversion World, how they're back with Archie's Forge. I don't know what this thing is, but it's adorable, and I want 7 of them. So, I'm sure it's going to take a couple of days, you know, for them to get all of the pictures up in place. But this is really good news. You know, really, really good for these guys that they're back up and running. And now that they're in a UK retailer as well, it means the shipping's not going to be horrendous, because that was always a big problem getting them into UK, was the shipping from these was almost the same price as the parts you were buying, so it made them very unattractive. That's cool, actually. I really like that. The extra armor for a Chimera. Back in the day, they used to come with a sprue of track covers, and I always really liked that, because it was always good to sort of cover them up, because you don't want a tank with exposed tracks. This is cool. Wheeled chimeras. You could make some really cool, interesting conversions for the militia in that. The only thing I have a problem with bits like this is I'd like to see a picture of it on the actual model. I know you would have to say things like, oh, this is for, you know, display purposes only. But I'd really like to see it, because, you know, I'd quite like to fucking know what it looks like on the actual part before I buy it. There's a Panzer II style turret for a Chimera. That's cool. I like that. And these things look cool. Just look at the size of that. Where's the heavy turret on its own, so it tells me what it's actually for? Okay, guys. Well, that's just all I wanted to show you, because this came to my attention that this is, you know, back and around, and you can now get your hands on it. It's a Bane blade. Nice. So yeah, if you've got some spare scratch and you feel like supporting another smaller retailer and a smaller manufacturer, go over to Elxhovies. I'll pop a link in the comments and have a look at these Blood and Skulls Industries accessories. Alright guys, my name is Bando. This is Brexit Bando. Have a great day. Bye bye.